Do you love interior design but can't make the business side work? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Success by Design, mastering the business of interior design. Whether you want to elevate in your current interior design firm, start your own firm, or move the needle when it comes to your existing firm's trajectory, this is your masterclass, and I'm your host, Katie Erickson. Learn from my mistakes as I built a coast-to-coast, multi-million-dollar interior design firm. I share nearly 20 years of serving as a university professor of undergraduate and graduate business courses with you. And best of all, I bring in experts in all things business and interior design. Class starts now. Hey, Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here today because we have been working together for a little bit now. And I love Rachel. I only invite the people I really love on my show because, well, when I first met you, it was very clear. I'm like, oh, she knows what she wants to do. She has a clear direction and she's going to do it. And this is so great. Like, it's so fun to work with clients like that. But tell us about your business. Let's start with, how did you even get into interiors?
Yeah, so I started my company, Row Interior Design, about 2 years ago here in Denver, Colorado. But I started in the design world, probably about 10 years ago. And so I'm originally from Southern California, the Orange County area. And one of the funny things in the business, I feel like people end up saying it more frequently than you would think, but my degree was not in design. It was in business administration. It has served me very, very well. But so I did not intend to go into interior design initially. I thought that I wanted to do real estate because I loved the housing market. I loved looking at houses. Going to open houses was my weekend pastime. But what I didn't realize is it wasn't just real estate and the sales of houses and things like that. That was my gateway. But what I really loved was seeing the architecture and the design and how different people's personalities were shown within their home. So initially got my real estate broker's license and was doing that, and so unfulfilling.
I love your honesty.
Just was not gelling. It was not for me. And so I decided, you know what? I am fresh out of college. I have the world ahead of me. Let's just try something that actually sounds fun. Like it would fit my personality and my goals. So decided I'm going to go for it. So my first role was just in a design center and immediately learned so much because, what the heck is a lead time and what the heck are trade prices and resale licenses and all these things. And so kind of just dove into to all of those things that nobody talks about. That's all behind the scenes that you have to learn. And then really from there, just worked my way through the industry. I ended up working at a really fabulous design firm out there that took a chance on me of somebody not having much of a background and, doesn't have it as her major that she studied in college. And that role was just me and the lead designer there. And so I got into every little nitty gritty bit of the industry and the business and direct facing with clients and organizing all the tradespeople and all of the materials and, just every aspect of it. And worked at a few other design firms out there. Made my way here out to Colorado about 5 years ago and continue to work in the industry out here. And then opened my interior design firm about 2 years ago now. So it's been a really fun, beautiful, wonderful journey. And I'm just so happy to be where I am right now.
What was your tipping point, in the words of Malcolm Gladwell, into saying, okay, I'm ready to jump out on my own?
It's sometimes you just feel it in your bones and you just say, there's something that I'm ready. I'm on the precipice of something new, of something different. And for whatever reason, I know that that's going to be starting my own. And what the heck does that look like? What does that mean? Can I do this? And all of those questions. But I just felt it so deeply from the universe, from whatever, that now is the time and I need to go for it. And so I did. And when you take the leap of faith, sometimes the world is there to catch you and make it happen. So
I hope you're enjoying this conversation to our audience, because this is exactly why I wanted to have you on the show. It is a leap of faith and it can be downright scary. Like, what was the scariest part for you in saying, I know I need to do this? And like we've talked about on the show, doing it scared anyway. What was the fear that you just had to say, I'm just going to hug that porcupine and we're going to do it anyway?
I would say the biggest fear is rejection, because you're putting yourself out there as here's what I have to offer, and people can say yes or people can say no. And that's a very scary thing. As a recovering people pleaser and all of that, it's very hard.
Along with most women out there. Yes.
Well, and what's so interesting is I feel like for whatever reason, the design world attracts a certain personality. And a lot of the times there is people-pleasing tendencies within the industry.
Yeah.
We're coming to clients and saying, here's this beautiful design I put together for you. Do you like it? And you're putting yourself out there in that way, in a very vulnerable way. And so I think that was my biggest fear starting out is, people can say yes or no to this. People can say yes or no to me is really what it is. Because when it's your own business, you're the face of it and you're the designer behind all of the specifications. So they're really saying yes or no to you. And so I think the fear of rejection was that biggest fear that I had to just kind of say, it's going to be what it's going to be.
How did you get over it? How did you say, if they rejected design, it's not them rejecting me. They just want to change to the design. Because this is one of the biggest things I love to coach to. It's the confidence factor of it is not you. It's something you created, but what they see as beauty is so unique to each individual. And their functionality and use case may be completely different than what you had in your head. And ideally, you get that out of the gate. But sometimes clients don't even know. And it takes them a minute to figure out what they want. And you have to walk that journey with them. How did you get past going, I'm not a rejection, it's the design plan they want changed?
I mean, I think I had seen working at previous design firms, it happened to other people. And it really is where I love the overall direction, but this one piece, for whatever reason, it reminds me of this. And you would have had no idea that piece was going to remind them of that one thing or whatever it is. And so I had seen it happen to others. And so that does kind of help take the sting out of it. It's not me. It happens to everyone. But I would say also, too, it's doing it scared. And maybe I never really did get over it. And it's just, you got to keep moving forward anyway.
Yeah.
A huge part of that was coaching. It's the confidence factor and the confidence to put yourself out there in that way anyway.
Which can be so hard. And I love that we have been able to work together. Let's have the conversation. There's so many business coaches out there. What made you say, I need a business coach, and this is why I chose to work with Katie?
So I had first initially heard you on the Design Matters podcast with Luann, which I'm an avid listener to, as well as your podcast. And I heard you speak to how interior designers were thrown into the thick of things. And when you do decide to take that leap of faith, nobody tells you, here's how you do it. Here's the nitty gritty of it. No, you just throw yourself in and you figure it out along the way. But we still need that coaching. We still need that support. We still need that help. It's twofold of the really tactical help of here's how you need to run your finances. Here's how you need to organize your processes. But also, too, there's the more nuanced of having the confidence and doing things scared and making moves and focusing your marketing and different things like that, where the coaching is so, so helpful in both of those categories, in the tactical and the nuanced. When I was listening to you on the other podcast, I could just hear, I was like, God, she gets it. She understands the plight of the interior designer.
It is a plight some days, yes. Some days it's so rewarding, and other days you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. I was at a point, I think I had probably been in business for maybe close to a year at that point. And it was at this point where it's like, okay, I've built something here, but I want it to be better. And we all have blind spots. And so getting with a coach who can help you see those blind spots and help you navigate around them so that you can make those changes to get to the next level and make those decisions to do things maybe you were scared to do without talking to somebody else. And so it's just been so, so helpful for me. But I could just tell, I was like, oh, she gets it and she's going to get me. And I need this right now because I do. At the time I was like, I need to get to that next level. I want to break through that barrier and I want somebody's assistance and coaching to get there.
One of my favorite things that we did when we started coaching was opening up the Rolodex. And I love sharing because I think what happens is so many designers feel so alone, to your point. It's like, I'm out here and I'm fighting the battle. What is everybody else doing? is there a resource for this? Is there a resource for that? That's one of my favorite parts of coaching is being like, yes, there is. So you need this person and this person and this person and that person, and plugging in so that it doesn't feel like I'm in my office staring at a screen, designing for the 85th hour this week. And am I still earning money? Right? Like, because sometimes that's the big question. Am I still here? Do I still like this? Am I still earning money? Is this still happening for me? And to see your transformation has been so cool, because one of the things I said, and in case you haven't figured out by now, Rachel is very self-motivated. And I said, Rachel, you've got to give yourself some space. You're doing great. This is going to happen for you. Oh my gosh, you've been in business for one hot minute and you've already crushed it. Now just take a deep breath and realize some of this just takes time, which is sometimes hard to accept on the journey too. Sometimes it's not about the better process, the greater intentionality, but sometimes it just takes time. How have you walked the balance of us strategizing about understanding intentionality in business, but also just saying it might just take one hot minute for this to happen, and give yourself a moment to breathe because you're crushing it?
Well, and I think just to speak on that real quick before I answer your question, I needed to hear that, And so a lot of times in the design world, we have our personal circle, we have our family, we have our partners, we have our friends, and they encourage us and all those things. But a lot of times you need someone in the industry who's been there, who gets it, who understands the clients and the way that the industry works to say, you're doing a great job. Don't be so hard on yourself.
100%. Those might have been the exact words.
Because I am. I'm very hard on myself and I have big goals and a lot of motivation to get there. And so having someone along the way to encourage you is just so vital and so important. So to circle back to your question, I would say it's definitely still a struggle, because when you are motivated and when you are just so ready to get there, it's hard not to be impatient. It's hard not to just say, I'm there mentally. Why isn't my business there quite yet? Or, whatever it is. Or why hasn't that client that I've been marketing towards come to me yet? It hasn't shown up. It hasn't materialized. It's not something that I can say, I'm cured. But it's just that ongoing way that we speak to ourselves at the end of the day of, you've had a long day and you're like, I'm ready for that next big thing to happen. I keep thinking about it. I keep wanting it. I keep working towards it. But giving yourself that time and giving yourself that grace, it does take time. Like you said, it's been a hot minute and there's still so much time ahead. So there's still so much time for things to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have to be patient along the way and do the work and keep that motivation in the meantime, but keep it forefront that that's where you're headed.
Yeah, 150%. It's interesting. A lot of times we talk about doing the lonely work when I'm coaching, about taking that time to do it, all the things that allow you to shine when you have a chance to shine. It was interesting coaching with you because it was the exact inverse of like, I know you're doing all the things. Now you just need to wait a minute and feel really good about what you've created, because it takes this many touch points and it takes this much time in the world of marketing, and you're going to get there. It just takes one hot minute. You design with purpose. Your flooring should too. When you choose Shaw Contract's EcoWorks carpet, EcoWorks Resilient, or US-made resilient flooring, you're not just selecting high-performance materials, you're actively reducing landfill waste. With Shaw's Return Reclamation Program, return as little as 100 square yards of used flooring for free, and they'll recycle it into new products. Even flooring from competitors can be reclaimed, keeping more waste out of landfills. Serious about sustainability? Specify smarter with Shaw Contract. Learn more at shawcontract.com. Where do you think you would be without coaching? How did coaching change the trajectory of your career and really starting your own space?
I think it comes back to the twofold of the really tangible of I needed a new accountant. And you said, I've got an amazing accountant. Here you go. And so the resources that propelled me forward. And then also the way that you think about your business, being patient with the progress and all of that. I think that I would have been slower to find my own accountant and to be harder on myself when it comes to the time aspect of things take time and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it takes you where you're at and it launches you forward in a way that you wouldn't have been able to do yourself, because there's so much power within community and there's so much power within just talking to each other And so to specifically talk to someone that knows the industry, understands where you're at, and knows where you need to be and how to get there. I mean, it's like, yeah, I could have figured it out myself along the way, but it would have taken much more time, much more energy, much more frustration. And so it's like, yeah, no, let's just catapult this thing forward and let's just keep moving. Because as I said, I can be impatient with those things. And so that's the perfect way for me to get from here to here quickly.
Yeah, it's so wise. And I think anyone who is coaching should also be being coached. We all have things to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of our industry, too, is there's always some new angle, either to design or now AI or to business. In fact, it was interesting. I was speaking to the Interior Design Society's virtual chapter, and AI came up and they're like, come back and do just AI, Katie. And I was like, I'm a coming. Because it's so quickly changing every single industry. And so if you're bored and stagnant, if you're like, I don't know what I should be doing with my business, it's like, oh, that's a good moment to stop and say, I need somebody to come on board, whether it's Katie coaching me or there's so many coaches out there. Find one you love and go find somebody to help you really catapult yourself to where you want to be. And also back off. Sometimes that's an interesting aspect of coaching, is coaching people into retirement. I have another coaching client like that who's like, I want to slow down. I want to be done in 3 years. I want to position my business to close. And that's a whole nother coaching chapter, right? But as is always the case in life, there's chapters and fragments and segments. And I think even when we first met, you were like, I'm right in the middle of getting ready to move and do blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yep, it's never going to be the perfect time. We should start.
No, it's so true. Life doesn't pause for you.
It doesn't. And but to see where you're at now and the progress you've made in building this business that you wanted to build and finding your space and your voice and your confidence and also your patience with yourself is so cool. Because when I first met with you, I was like, she's going to burn out. She is pushing so hard. I'm like, she needs one hot minute of grace with herself. And now when I see you, I'm like, oh, it's grounded Rachel who's in a position to sustain for a long period of time. And she's still highly motivated. But instead of the high spun urgency, there's more of this grounded confidence of peaceful decision making that's moving you just as fast, but in a sustainable way.
Absolutely. Instead of that feeling of panic of, I need to be there, I need to do this, I need to do that, it's that steady undercurrent that's underneath everything else of, I am doing those things. And it will take time, but because I'm doing that work and I'm laying that foundation, it will happen. And it is happening, and it will continue to happen. So I really think, yes, it's instead of kind of fearfully clawing at something that you want, it's confidently working towards it in every little thing that you do during the day. And it's not always these big, huge moves that you're making, but sometimes it's really just the way that you're thinking about your client, that you're thinking about the project, and that you're thinking about future projects, and the way you're branding yourself and the clients that you are marketing yourself towards and trying to kind of draw in. And so, yeah, it's just somewhat of the different mentality of, fearfully grasping for something versus confidently working towards something. And it's the same goal. You're still working towards that same thing, and you're still thinking about that same thing, but just approaching it differently with a calmer mindset and with a more confident mindset. Because I think that's something, too, that goes so far with clients and with building your business. It takes time. But it's building that confidence. It's building it in yourself. It's building it in your designs. It's building it in your processes. And it's not going to happen overnight, because nobody who's running a business has the time to make those kinds of things happen overnight. And they're just something that naturally evolve anyway.
Well said.
But yes, it really is just that confidence factor in yourself and in your business and in your processes and in your design. So
what would you say to the person listening who's like, I hear you, Rachel, but they're just scared to reach out and say, help, need some help in this area? What would be your words of wisdom to them sitting on the other side of the coaching experience?
Yeah, I would say there's certain things that you need to invest in when you're starting a business, whether it's interior design or otherwise. And the most important thing to invest in when it's a company that you are the face of is yourself. And coaching is such a beautiful way to do that, because it's completely tailored to you. You go to your coach. I came to you and I said, here's what the heck's going on. Here's me. Here's my projects. Here's my goals. And so it's tailored to you because don't get me wrong, I love listening to a good podcast, but to make it personalized and to speak to someone one-on-one who's going to propel you forward is invaluable. And so I would say investing in yourself is just absolutely worth it when it comes to starting your business because we all hit roadblocks and we all, like I said, have blind spots and those kinds of things. And so working on those early on, and coaching is fabulous throughout your whole career, but just speaking from my experience, getting that coaching early on, it's just really been so helpful and wonderful. And one of the other things too was in purchasing your package where I got to time when I wanted those coaching sessions, I got to tailor it to when I needed it. And so it was session 1 and 2 happened pretty quickly. And then I was like, okay, I've got my rhythm. I'm moving forward. I'm feeling good. I have crazy life things happening. I'm moving. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then we start new projects, new things happen. And oop, I've got a new thing I need to talk about. Let's go back and schedule my session with Katie.
It was so great. I saw her pop up and I'm like, I bet she's lived a little bit of life based on our second conversation. Yep. I can't wait to hear. And it was such a good conversation because so many things had moved and changed personally and professionally. How do we make all that gel, you know? I'm so excited for what the future holds for you. It has been a privilege and an honor to be a part of your journey. And I can't wait to see where it takes you because it's so fun. This is my favorite part about coaching is just sitting here on the sidelines and saying, I think if you do this little tweak, this little tweak, this little tweak, things will change. And then watching what happens. And it's usually incredible because I don't even have to do the work. I'm just planting the seed. And then I sit back and watch it grow. And it's humbling. It's like, wow, that's amazing. It does. It takes my breath away. It leaves me deeply humbled. So thank you for trusting me. It means more than you know. And I'm so excited. I can't even imagine where you're going to be in another year.
No, I'm so excited about the time that we've spent together with coaching. And they're fun milestones for me as well of, you know, when we talked those previous times and then talking more recently and just talking through the different stages of building a business and growing a business. It's good milestones for me too. And I'm so excited about the growth that Ro has had over the past few years and the growth that we've had this year. And so I'm also very excited to see how things continue to blossom and grow. And I've been so happy that you've been such an amazing part of that.
Well, thanks for trusting me. It means the world. We'll put the link to her website in our show notes. And thank you for your time. I love it. These are the people that are going to change our industry for the better. It's so cool to see. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you so much.